The Unlife of Lisa Cooper by J.M. Chaley. Yay!
Hey, thanks for having me
Hey,
back.
Jamie. Welcome back. So, Vengeance, book number two in the Unlife of Lisa Cooper series by J.M.
Yes.
Chaley. Um, you read the first book was Conviction, and then we had the prequel, the Vampires of 1863.
Yep.
What year did the first book, was it 2022 or?
Yeah, the Kindle Vella version launched in 2022, and then the novel of it was 2023.
Okay. So yeah, so you started out on Kindle Vella with the 2022 doing the episodes,
Hmm.
and that was quite different. But it was good for, you kind of built up an audience with that. And then you launched the novel in 2023. And then you decided to write the prequel, right? And then,
Yep.
which was kind of like showing us how when Lisa first became a vampire, right?
Right.
And yeah, and so yeah, we got, you know, she came to Boston. I think you said,
Yep.
when did she come to Boston?
She came to Boston in 1850. She was 12 years old at the time. So she was a young girl, uh, basically fleeing Ireland because of the Great Hunger. So her family was starving, and like many Irish immigrants, they came to the United States looking for a better life. Yeah, she got turned in her 20s.
Oh,
So she
that's a
moved
secret.
to yeah, she moved to Ireland. She moved from Ireland to Boston in 1850. She was 12 years old, and then in
Yeah,
1860 she got turned into a vampire.
okay,
And the prequel takes place in 1863. So,
right.
you know,
Yeah,
she's only been a vampire for 3 years at that
right.
point.
Yeah, so now, in the first book, the that is the in Conviction, she has to there's these rumors that she wants to take over all these bleeds, and she has to basically so she's got all these vampires basically coming after her, and she has to survive. But not don't want to give away anything, but basically in this book now she's really she's really become very powerful, and she's she needs to she wants to get revenge on, you know, this like really bad vampire guy. And
Yeah, there's a vampire lord that sort of lingers around after the first book, and he has killed people that are close to her
yeah,
before, and she is wanting to protect Neil, who is her mortal friend and maybe boyfriend.
yeah,
Um, and you know, if this guy's gonna be just whacking, killing people that are uh close to her, her mortal friends, then this guy, as far as she's concerned, he needs to go. So she's got to destroy him. She's not strong enough. So she seeks the power that she needs to destroy him in Ireland, which is the ancient um, origins of vampires in my setting.
yeah. And that actually reminds me of something that comes up a lot throughout the series, is the okay, I never get the pronunciation right. The Scalic predominance. Can you tell us
Yeah, the
about that?
Scalic predominance.
Yeah,
Yep.
Scalic predominance. Okay, yeah, I always butcher that. So tell us about that, because that's a big an important thing in the series.
Sure. Yeah. So when the first vampire was created as a punishment to this evil king, um, it was really only meant to be that one guy to just suffer and drink blood and be cursed. Um, he used dark magic to turn it into other things and spread his disease to other people. And when the other gods were upset by this, their solution was to bring in the Fey folk to basically cull the herd of vampires and keep them under control. So the Scalic predominance is basically a, literally a shadow government of Fey folk who um, sort of subjugate vampires to be kind of under their heel and say, well, you can only spread so far, and we're going to keep you contained, and you can only do this, and you can do that. And so the vampires kind of had these fey masters. And I explore that in The Vampires of 1863, which is about that conflict. Um, so in Ireland, the belief is that there's going to be fae all over the place, and it's a bad place to go if you're a vampire.
Hmm. Wow. Okay. So the Scalic predominance, it kind of keeps the vampires in check, so to speak.
Hmm.
Um, and I guess the vampires, like, is there any kind of like pushback, or I mean, is there kind of a tension there between the Fae folk and the vampires?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I explore that mostly in The Vampires of 1863.
Okay.
Um, that's when Lisa stumbles upon the murder of another vampire, and she's thrust into this conflict between Fey nobles and vampire lords for control of Boston. She runs into a little bit of it again in this book, Vengeance,
Yeah.
um, and that gets dangerous for her. Um, but it's not the focus of. I would say it's not really the focus of this book, I would say.
Okay, yeah. So when the reader closes the book, when the reader is finished with the book, what is that you want, that you really want the reader to come away with it, to come away with the big why.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a question of, how much of yourself would you be willing to sacrifice to do the right thing or to protect the people you love? And that's Lisa's quandary. How much of herself is she willing to risk, her humanity, her moral compass, whatever it is, to protect the people she loves? And she makes some choices,
Yeah.
and some of those choices are difficult. So, you know, you, when I try to write, I'm always hoping that the reader can kind of identify with Lisa or any protagonist, right, that you're writing about, and maybe put themselves in that position. So maybe when they close the book, they think, "Oh, geez, what would I have done in that situation?" You know?
I hope I'm never in that situation.
No, hopefully.
Yeah. What is there a moment in the book that you particularly enjoyed writing?
I liked, there's a really great fight scene that I really enjoyed. Um, in one of them, there's a couple of really great fight scenes, I should say, but one of them I enjoyed because I was able to slip in a little bit of humor into it. And if you can pull that off in a fight scene, I always enjoy doing that.
Oh yeah.
Um, there's also there's a little bit of romance. There's more romance in this book than there was in Conviction. I still wouldn't call it a romance
Right.
as
Okay.
far as the genre,
Yeah.
but there's smooching. So there wasn't smooching before, but now
Oh,
there is. So there you go.
so is there, just this is just out of curiosity, but there's a lot of vampire tropes. Is there one that really bugs you? And is there one that you actually kind of like and I don't know, kind of enjoy? So
That's a great question.
yeah.
Um, I don't know that there's one that bugs me as much as that there's a lot of vampire tropes that are kind of like, why? Like garlic. I don't know why that is a thing for vampires sometimes.
Yeah.
Why does that affect them? The mirror and the reflection thing, I've heard a couple of that explained a couple of different ways. One is that the old mirrors used to be made with silver, and the silver has some sort of property to it that is aversive to vampires. And then another thing is vampires are, God cannot look upon vampires so that they cannot look upon themselves or something like that. So the mirror thing kind of makes sense, but it's inconsistent.
Yeah.
So anytime you see a trope of that I didn't use, it's because I couldn't make sense of it in my own setting. So the garlic thing
Yeah.
doesn't matter. It doesn't exist in my setting. The mirror thing doesn't exist in my setting.
Yeah.
Um, Crosses make sense to a point, but my problem with the whole cross thing is that in most cultures, I feel like vampires existed before Christianity did. So all of a sudden,
Yeah.
this symbol, you could be, pretend it's the Middle Ages or even like the early Middle Ages, like it's the year 800 or something like that, and you march yourself like way up north into, you know, Norway or something, and where they're still worshiping, Odin, and you bring a cross and you're like, yeah, they'd be like, what is that? I don't know what that is. Why does that? Why am I supposed to care about that? You
Yeah.
know, the cross thing for me only makes sense if vampires are Christian in origin in some way or fell
Yeah.
from God in some way.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
my vampires predate Christianity, so I didn't bother putting that in there. It's not a bad trope. It just for a
Yeah.
lot of cultures around the world that have had vampires since ancient times in
Yeah.
their folklore, it never made sense to me.
Yeah. It really doesn't make sense because it's like, I mean, how does like whether I mean there's just vampires who aren't Christian, like, but I guess it's just the whole good and evil thing. They try to put the vampires and the evil, but
Yeah,
yeah, it's just that. But yeah, that doesn't really work now that I think about it. And the garlic thing is really stupid. And I think that kind of like the Lost Boys threw that out, They were just like, I love garlic,
that was funny. Yeah.
you know. But yeah, that's funny. So I think oh, do you have like this is kind of a silly question, but is there like a song that kind of captures the mood of Lisa, either in this book or just in general? I don't know. Do you have a like a song or
Yeah, I always like Painted Black.
Oh, okay.
It's not by the Rolling Stones. It's not necessarily her attitude
Yeah,
about it, but it's sort of the setting. It's sort of the,
cool.
there's all this color in the world, but it's turned black by
Yeah,
whatever, the vampire curse or however you want to look at it. But
yeah.
it's sort of Lisa running in a constant uh flight, trying to stay ahead of her dark spiral, and not succumb to it.
Yeah, it definitely like speaks to that duality of her existence, that strange conundrum that she's constantly in, that, I really want to, I want to use my power so that I can get what I need, but I don't want to use my power because I'm trying to hang on to my humanity. You know,
Yeah.
that's kind of the core of what makes her so interesting. So I
Yeah.
guess, yeah, I mean, good job. I mean, I think you really created a character that we can relate to, I mean, like a vampire that we can really relate to. Like, it's not that, I mean, I don't know, like I love Dracula as much as
Oh yeah.
anybody because it's so fascinating, just the way it's written with the letters and everything. Um, but I don't know, like I can't really relate to Dracula, I don't know. I can't
Yeah.
like I don't connect with him,
Yeah.
But with Lisa, I can she just I don't know, she feels like a person, It's so much more than and I
That's
can't
what I
think
was going for. I mean,
yeah,
the idea is that like, what if I got turned into a vampire? How would I be? And I think I'd try to hold on to the person that I was in life so that I didn't lose myself. And
Yeah.
that may or may not be about being a good person. Maybe I just want to play video games and stuff. I just want to be me.
Yeah.
Not that that's
Yeah.
not that I'm a bad person, but
Yeah.
it's not humanity isn't necessarily about her being pious. It's just
Right.
about
Yeah.
keeping herself the way that she was,
What's
you know.
important to her. Yeah. And that's
Yeah.
interesting because, yeah, I know, like in the prequel, you get to see her family and like that's really what's important to her is the people that she loves. So,
Oh yeah, she'd sneak away and see her family when
yeah.
her creator was telling her not to.
Yeah.
She'd slip away into the North End and hang out with them.
Yeah. So, I guess like now, I really want to hear about like this book I assume is just like the first book. You can buy it in like some independent bookstores as well as Amazon and Bookshop and all that. I
Yeah,
think
there's about 4 or 5 bookstores in Massachusetts that are carrying it on the shelf. Like
okay.
you can walk in, grab it. But it's available everywhere. You can buy it on Amazon. And if you walk into a store that it's not carrying it on the shelf, they can order it. So like a Barnes and Noble or your own indie bookstore
Yeah.
or even bookshop.org. It's got an ISBN number, so that means that it's print on demand. So anywhere you like to buy your books, you can get it.
If somebody wants to get it at the library and it's not there, you can go to your librarian can actually yeah, a lot of times like I know like here in Baton Rouge at our library we have a form we can fill out and
Yep.
you can tell them, look, I want the Unlife of Lisa Cooper by J.M. Chaley, and they'll it'll go to I can't remember who it goes to, but somebody reviews it and they can if they get enough requests, then they'll get it for you. So there's that too.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think they have to, so how that works is
yeah,
that, so with libraries, they'll check their database. So all these libraries, they're in the same organization together.
yeah,
So the first thing they'll do is they'll say, well, we don't have it because I'll tell you right now, it's not in Baton Rouge, right? So,
yeah,
and then they'll look around and they'll go, well, is there anywhere else that any of the library in our network, do they have it?
yeah,
And then it'll be like, no. Um,
yeah,
and then they'll say, well, we need to buy it. So then they'll buy it, um, and they'll get a discount because when I sell to libraries, they get a discount on it. Um, and then they'll get the copy into the store, however long that takes, and then they let you know when it comes in.
yeah. All right. That's so awesome because,
Yeah.
I just learned about bookshop.org as well, just to change the topic a little bit because I thought that was really interesting that you can get it from there because
Yep.
more and more people now are a little hostile about Amazon. So
Yeah. And the cool thing about bookshop.org, if you have an independent bookstore in your town or wherever that you want to um, give credit to, you can link their store, their brick and mortar store,
Mhm.
to your bookshop.org account. So like I have an account, sorry, I have a local bookstore here in my town and I link that store to my bookshop account.
Cool. Cool. That's great. So I will put the links for JM Chaley, his website. I think is it jmchaley.com?
Yep.
Or and then I'll put that in the show notes and we'll put the link for the Amazon link, the bookshop link, bookshop.org link,
Yep.
and yeah, I think jmchaley.com should cover it as well. We'll put that link and then you can go buy the book and
Yeah.
have fun for the spooky season.
Yeah, it's a great October read, Vampires.
I forgot the most awesome thing about Lisa, besides her amazing magical dog, Chewy, and the fact that she's so human. She could turn into a bat.
Yes.
and other stuff, actually. I think she
A
turned into a dog, right?
wolf.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a wolf. Yeah, same thing. Yeah, anyway. Yeah, she turned into a wolf. Yeah,
Yep.
that's pretty awesome. Yeah,
Yeah, that's classic Dracula stuff. There's a
yeah,
lot we talked about tropes earlier, and there's
yeah,
cool vampire powers, and I wanted to grab them, put them
yeah,
in my setting.
yeah. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you for sorry
Yeah,
about
thanks.
our little hiccups in the beginning, but
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for having me. Good
yeah.
time.
All right. Happy Halloween.
Happy
Happy,
Halloween.
happy Monday. I hope you have a great week.
Yeah, you too.
All right. Have good night.
Good night.